Howdy, lieutenants and economists.
The most volatile, evil, disgusting things on the planet, humans. If you have a video request, you can always go to assholeconsulting.com.
Yeah, I am gonna charge you, kids. And that is the importance of not fucking up.
You are such an asshole!
assholeconsulting.com. I had a very simple question. I'm a U.S. citizen, and as I am a conservative and like Trump and pro-defense, I was never with defensive. Let me explain. I support the military in opinion, but however, never had any interest in volunteering or joining any army services. The military is just not for me. However, I have two simple questions. One, I am not sure, but believe in any state in the United States, your parents cannot push you into the army until you become an adult. I've heard that possible in the last century. That might have been possible. Is this something that could still be possible today or in the future regardless of age? No, your parents cannot force. The government can. We have a draft, but your parents cannot force you. I mean, maybe if you live at home with them and you rely on them, I mean, through parental controls and emotional manipulation, they might be able to force you, but not by law. But it's not the parents that determine whether or not you're drafted into the Army. It's the United States federal government that determines that. So we do have a draft. They have that option to call everyone up to service, I think, to age. I don't think they can draft me anymore. I'm too old. But yeah, you got to go register for the draft when you're a young man. And yeah, but your parents, it's not up to your parents. 2, in France in World War II, as you probably know, taxi drivers would drive troops from France to Paris. From France to Paris. Paris is in France. Tax or economically exempt as an executive order regardless of age. I believe it was like 14 to 50 or something like that. So do you believe that there will ever be another draft? Well, there is a draft. They haven't. You have to sign up for the draft, but they have not drafted people since Vietnam. It's an all-volunteer army, but there still is the option that the United States government might forcibly draft you. Or non-volunteer mandatory military requirement for American civilians. If so, how could you stop it? Some say you would have to be in school or helping out an elderly family member, but I'm not positive. Well, they have exemptions. Talk to Trump, talk to Clinton, talk to anybody who went into the clergy or escaped to Canada. The baby boomers were experts at it. If you want to know how to dodge the draft, talk to some baby boomers. You could also do, I think it was like by joining the reserves or the National Guard, you could get easier duty. There's other ways. But do I believe that there will ever be another draft or non-voluntary mandatory to American civilians? No, because the American people are just so weak today. I mean, the baby boomers were pretty weak, but it's just gotten worse since the baby boomers. You'd have such a stink. You can't even get kids to go get a job and support themselves or leave their mom's basement. They're gonna dude. They protest at a drop of a hat. And if you start requiring millennials and Gen Zers to, hey, there's a draft now, we got it. They'll stammer their little feet. They'll just dig their heels and they'll protest, and nothing will happen. The modern day government has no spine or balls to draft. Oh, they'll come after you if you're using plastic straws, but they won't. The kids' gloves they put on with the baby boomers it would seem like a hard metal paddle they used to spank their ass. Now it would just be the biggest kid gloves ever. They would not enforce a draft. If so, how could you stop it? People would just not attend. I mean, you'd have, what do they call it, passive resistance or nonviolent protesting or whatever. People just wouldn't show up. Some say it would have to be in school or helping out elderly. Yeah, but that's a legal, not hardship, what do they call it? Qualifying. There's a qualifying, like you have a medical reason. You have to stay at home, take care of an elderly person. You're already in college or something like that. There's other, already written into the rules, qualifications that say, yeah, you can't get drafted because of X, Y, and Z, and there's a list of that. So individually, you could dodge the draft by doing that. Get your qualification as to why you can't be drafted. But how you would stop it? Well, you could have it go through the democratic process and have a rule passed that we have to have a volunteer army. But I say in the real world, how it would be stopped, you just have today's young people, and I mean, and most of them are fat and they can't even do basic. They can't even run quarter mile. What are you gonna? You're gonna take some kid whose life is playing video games and drinking the 20-ounce Mountain Dew? Are you gonna get him to go through basic? I mean, there's just too. Not only is there not the ability, the mental willing ability, physically, damn near half the people who are of drafting age would just, flunk out of or wash out of basic training. I don't think you could get them. It just wouldn't happen. And there's also not the spirit. I mean, most young people today hate the United States. So if there was such a threat, such a military threat that threatened the United States, these people would be more likely to go join the other team. And yeah, man, the United States is evil with all this free food and shit and money. I could stay in my mom's basement and sip and go ahead and be a social justice warrior online. Yeah, this country sucks, man. I'm gonna go help out the Chinese. I don't think anyone's gonna try and invade the United States anytime soon. We're kind of friends with all of our former enemies. I know people look at China. Oh, they're big. They're like, yeah, but we don't really hate each other. The Soviet Union doesn't exist anymore. We may be suspicious, but we don't hate each other. If anything, the only real threat would be rogue states or terrorist groups. But those, they don't bring in invading armies that are going to take over the nation. They don't have the numbers. They'll just terrorize you and kill indiscriminately. But yeah, I mean, be happy about that, man. There's not going to be like some World War III going on, and I'll watch. All of a sudden, the Chinese get some crazy guy in there. Who knows? All right, that's it. Questions, answers, AsselConsulting.com. See you guys later. Doodles.